Hi, I'm Jason Tabb, and this is my wife Vicki Tabb, and we're the founders of Hope's Haven Camp.
Hope's Haven is a camp for abused and neglected children who are or have been wards of the court. So they're either in foster care, group homes, or have been adopted. Hope's Haven came to be and was inspired by my own childhood. I had a very rough, dysfunctional childhood and was very broken as a young teenager and early adulthood. Spent a lot of time going to all kinds of people and therapists for help, and I could not seem to relieve the brokenness in my heart. And then I met Jesus Christ, and the healing and the relief from shame, the relief from the guilt, being that discovery of who I am in Christ and having a new identity, so that I didn't really identify so much with the hurt, the brokenness, the pain of the past, and it began to create a whole new life for me and a whole lot of new possibilities. And it's been a great journey, and I know that that's exactly what these kids need.
As new Christians, Vicki and I had the opportunity to serve at a camp in California called Camp Allendale. Camp Allendale has been serving kids who have been abused and neglected and have been through the system for over 40 years. It was through that experience that we were exposed to the model that Camp Hope's Haven has been designed after. And this therapeutic camp actually provides opportunity, as Vicki said, for healing. When we say therapeutic, we're talking about the heart. We're talking about how God heals the heart and how we as Christians can come together to contribute our time through volunteering to allow God to reach out and touch these kids as we love on them. Hope's Haven is a great opportunity for anyone that feels a tug to reach out and help to heal a broken heart. It's exciting. It's exciting to see them transformed throughout the weeks of camp. It's exciting to see them come back year after year and see the changes that have taken place as Christ and His Spirit works in their lives. And we have seen tremendous changes also in our lives and in the lives of those who come to mentor and serve as mentors or guides, which are junior mentors, if you will. We also have opportunities for staff, such as cooking help, photography, nurses, and people that come out and help with games. So there's lots of things that you can do. We also have opportunity to help prepare for camp, and we're really excited to be able to offer this opportunity for these children each summer, as well as opportunity for this mission that's right here in our backyard. So we welcome you to join the Hope's Haven family, and we hope to see you at camp. Take care.
Yes.
Well, I previously had done Hope's Haven 2 years in the past, and then I took a break because I was convinced God would call other very qualified people to camp at Hope's Haven. But God kept just speaking to me, and Shirley and Jesse spoke at our church, and I thought, boy, I hope people are listening to this because God is calling them to Hope's Haven. But through some experiences at school with some of my children in my classroom, I just really felt that God was calling me, and His prodding to my heart just never stopped. So I just answered that call, and I wasn't sure about it, but in faith I stepped out, and I'm so glad that I did.
I love working with those who are broken and bringing light and life to those places through joy, and camp's a perfect place for that because there's a lot of brokenness, but there's also a lot of joy that we get to bring into the lives around us.
So God called me to volunteer for camp. I heard about it through my church, and they came and did a presentation, and I was interested in it because I really enjoy working with kids. And when I heard it was like abused and neglected foster kids, I really had an interest in coming to work with them because I've never worked with them before, and I just felt like it would be like a really good opportunity to come and be able to like experience them and just be able to share, you know, what I've learned about Christ with them in their lives.
Well, my mom, she's sitting here next to me. She went a year before I did because I was too young, and she said she loved it. Like it was something she did that changed her life, and I just wanted to be a part of it, just to see what it was about.
God called me to help volunteer with camp, just from knowing Shirley and Jesse from going to my home church, and they approached me about helping out with it, and I prayed about it, and I felt God was calling me to help out with it because I believe that the youth of our generation and stuff, they're really important. It's important to share God with them and to be involved with their lives, and I just felt God was calling me to help out, just to encourage them to be Christians and help them live a godly life.
My biggest fear was not knowing what to expect, I think, and not having really ever worked directly with foster care children, just wondering if there would be something that I would be not equipped for. But then the realization too that God just provides everything that you need, trusting that, and being around all the other people who were there.
The biggest fear that I had for camp was I questioned my own spirituality. I wasn't quite sure if I was prepared to be able to answer some of the questions that some of the campers would have for me. But I was just able to, at camp we have a big family, and through that, if there's any questions, we help each other. But honestly, being around the kids is so comfortable, and their questions are just so genuine. There hasn't been anything that I haven't, by the grace of God, been able to answer, to the best of my ability. And I've been very comfortable with the relationships that I build with them.
Well, to be very honest, my biggest fear this year was returning as a mentor in my 50s. I thought, how on earth am I going to do this? I can't run as fast, I can't stay up as late, and I just have to tell you that we even had some mentors, at least one or two in their 60s, and they did great, and so did I in my 50s. There was nothing to be worried about. The camp experience was fine. Another thing is I played 2 games of Gold Rush, but not the third. See, they accommodate for people in their 50s.
My biggest fear was not knowing what to say. Some of these kids have been through situations that I don't even want to think about, and being faced with answering questions about it or having to respond to something that you don't know how to respond to was definitely my biggest fear. But the Lord equipped me through my career as a teacher, and also just through the support of other staff at Hope's Haven. Nobody lets you go through anything by yourself. It's very supportive, and God was always there for me too, of course.
My biggest fear? I think just not being prepared. I know other people probably say that too. But I think that is kind of, we tend to disqualify ourselves a little bit because we think that, oh, well, I'm not schooled enough in this, or I'm struggling with this, or struggling with that. Like, how can God use me when I haven't worked through this myself? Or like, a lot of misconceptions and lies I think that we tell ourselves, and it's really easy to believe those lies and kind of let this, oh, well, maybe next year I'll help with camp, or next year I'll step out in faith. But I think it's just choosing not to be afraid, even when you want to be afraid.
I would tell them that you absolutely should, and that it's a wonderful experience. I would just say, even if you enjoy working with kids at all, it's going to be a wonderful use of your time. I think it's definitely gratifying just to see the impact you can have on these kids just in the short time that you're there. Even the first day that you get there, these kids might be kind of quiet and not really, don't know who you are, but by the end of the week, the time you're done with them, they'll absolutely love you and be begging you not to leave because you've grown so close. And I think growing closer with the kids and all the other staff in general is really the most gratifying part of the whole experience.
Tell them it's a lot of fun. It's exhausting, but so much fun, and so worth the exhaustion that you get from it. I would say that there's so many different roles at camp. You can find your niche in anything. It doesn't matter
whether you're really good at cooking, you know, or are you good at just helping set up, you know, come help us set up camp, or, you know, being a mentor, because I know people think initially about, oh, I have to work with this child, and what if I break them, and oh no, but you don't have to even take that kind of a role if you don't want to. If you just want to be there, be a part of the kitchen staff, and do that, because that's still a big help of camp. I mean, we love food, we love to eat at camp, and it's a big part too. So I mean, there's other roles that we need help with at camp, behind the scenes roles, that you don't necessarily have to be right there with the campers if you don't feel comfortable with that, or if you want to kind of watch from the sidelines first and then do that.
I would tell them that it is just such an awesome experience, getting to meet these amazing kids and see how God has worked in their life, and it just brings you back to God too. It's not just them, it's you too.
So if you were wondering about volunteering at camp, I would say that, you know, praying about it first would be the biggest thing. Just ask God to help you with maybe what role you want to do. And I would just say that coming into it, you know, the kids really just want you to be there, and like being yourself is one of the biggest parts of you that you can bring to camp. And there's so many roles that you can fill, so you don't have to worry about, you could be a guide or a mentor or even help in the kitchen, but just, you know, if you have experience with working with kids and just interacting with them and bringing what you've learned about Christ in your lives and just being able to share it with the campers who are there.
Camp has really been impactful in my life, and there's just a lot of joy you get from being around children and getting to love on them, and it was really life-changing, and it made me see the way God loves us in a new perspective of just how he loves on the orphans and how he's been using me to love on them. So it really changes the way you view God in that sense.
For me, camp has changed me in the respect that it's kind of like going on a missions trip where you think you're going to go in and make a difference. And I think we all make a difference in serving God in the ways that we do. But it has shown me that really, again, God is the one who makes the difference. He just uses us as vessels. And to learn to just be more obedient and trust that he's sending me and guiding me where he wants me to go, even when I'm not comfortable or I don't feel qualified. So.
I think camp has made me more of a patient person, helping, how do I want to word this? Just being able to understand other people's viewpoints and see where they're coming from, and understanding the hardships that they've gone through. It's really given me a greater love for the Lord too, by seeing the mysterious ways that he does work through these children's lives and through my own life in general. I never would have known how to interact with these kids, but somehow I find that when I'm there, I do what is right and the right thing to do, and I feel the Spirit working through me in that way, and I think that's definitely wonderful.
I mean, just seeing God work so much, I mean, it's helped me build my faith in God, seeing how he works and how he's moving. You know, on a day-to-day aspect, you don't always necessarily see, you know, how God's working sometimes, just because of busyness of life and stuff. But when you help with camp and you're in that confined area with the kids and stuff, you see it way more, because it's, you know, it's right there, it's right in front of you. And I think just helping with camp has definitely helped my faith in God to grow. And I think I take more from camp, I think, home with me than the kids probably do, and that's why I love helping with camp.
Well, it's made me more patient, as David said. I find that I can just handle some situations better than what I did before I came to camp, if that makes any sense. Like, you don't get as frazzled as easily in some ways, or if there are other kids around, like, you know how to talk to them better, you know, in youth group or in whatever other situations. You just kind of have a better knowledge, I guess, of how kids think in some ways, because you worked with them at camp and you were immersed with them for weeks in the summer, that, you know, some people are kind of getting all like freaked out about these kids doing this or that, and you're kind of like, we had worse at camp. You know, like, we had situations that were difficult at camp too, and you just kind of roll with it and just do your best to be loving to them anyways and see them love you in return, and it's just really good.
Camp has changed me in so many different ways. It's hard to just pinpoint one, but I can tell you that I don't feel the sense of hopelessness that I used to, because when you see the hope that those children have in their eyes when they leave camp, that 1 week is devoted for them, and they take that week with them the other 360 days a year. And I can apply that to my everyday life. It's a hands-on experience that I'm able to take home to my children, to my community, and that's what we're here for. We're here to serve. So that's how it's changed my life. I've gotten to give a hands-on experience, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be.